Hi, this tutorial will explain how to customize the ECP Navigator. In the previous tutorial, EMF Client Platform Setup, we have shown you how to install and set up the EMF Client Platform and also how to set up a small example model. And now I'm running this example model with the EMF Client Platform in an Eclipse instance, and I have the Navigator on the left-hand side. In the Navigator, I can create new entities by right-clicking a project node. So what the Navigator displays is a number of modeling projects that you have. You can also create a new modeling project here, new project, and then give a name for the project. And in an existing project you can create entities of the models that you have registered. So for example here I have registered the library model, and I can create library books and riders. And once I've created one of the entities, I can, on these entities in the context menu, again I have several options. I can delete these, I can create new riders or new books, and that is because a library contains riders and books, so this will effectively create a child of the library, which is a rider again. And then in the Navigator what I can also do is I can open up the entities in an editor, and this behavior of which editor is going to open for a certain model element is called a model element opener. And what we will do is we will change the model element opener for a certain entity. The second thing that we will do and customize is the drag and drop behavior. So currently you have a default drag and drop adapter, and it will, for example, allow you to change the containment hierarchy here and to drag and drop those books into a different containment. And we will change that also. So now back to the Eclipse instance where we work in. We have in this Eclipse instance not only the example model and the example model edit plugin, we also have a Navigator customizations plugin. And if we have a look at that plugin and open up the plugin XML, we can see that in the extensions that we currently don't have any extensions. And the first extension that I will add is a model element opener extension. So I will add that now, and it's a model element opener. And I can see for the model element opener I can select a class which implements the model element opener. And I've already prepared such an opener, and I will just browse for that. It's called a library opener. And this library opener will be responsible for opening a library. So if we have a look at the class, now we can see the model element opener, and it basically implements two methods, the canOpen and the open model element method. And in the canOpen method, again, you can decide whether you want to be responsible for opening a certain model element, and that is the model element that is being given to you at the moment. So what you can see here is that we have an if condition that we can comment out, and then this if condition would check whether the E object is a library and then return 2, which means that that this opener wants to be responsible for opening. And 2 is again a priority, because of course several openers could register for one and the same model element, and then the one with the highest priority is chosen. And then, in case it is not a library, we will return do not open, which means that we don't want to open it, regardless of whether there is another opener or not. Then the extreme case of only openers that register with do not open, then it will just not open anything on a double click. And then in the second method, open model element, you add the code which is being executed on opening the model element. So you get again the object that is being opened, and in our case I will just display a dialog message box, and in that message box there will be a table viewer that will just display all the books of the library. Okay, now that we have that, I will just launch the editor once and show you that this opener works. Now if we go to the same project again and we just double click a library, we can see that we get a dialog instead of the editor. Unfortunately the dialog does not look very nice, but if I open up a library where there are books, then it looks a little bit nicer. Anyway, it's just for demoing. So what you could also do, of course, is open up your own editor here. And we can also see that the old editors for the default editors for the other entities still work. So there are still the ECP editors for all the other entities. Okay, now let's switch back to our Eclipse instance, and we will now change the drag and drop behavior for our application. In order to do that, we go to the plugin XML and to extensions, and we will add another extension that is an ME drop adapter. And the drop adapter is responsible for reacting on dropping something onto an entity. And I've already prepared a class for that as well, so I'll select this. This is the ME drop adapter, and open up the class. Now in that class again, first of all, there's a method isDropAdapter4, and that defines what the drop for which element this adapter is being registered. And in our case, we only want to be responsible for any elements of type book. So only if something is dropped on a book, then we are activated at all. And the activation then is done in the drop. So drop will be called if something on a book is being dropped. And what we will do is we will get the source, so that is the elements that are being dropped onto the book. And if the source is a writer and if the target is a book, then what we will do is we will just set this writer as an author of the book it has dropped on. So in other words, if I now have an author of the book, I can just drop it onto the book and it will be set as an author. We have registered this already now, and I will just relaunch the ECP application to see how this is reflected. Now if we open up the model again, and we have a look at one book, for example this book, it currently has a writer. I will just unset that writer, and now I will take this writer, give it a name, example Jonas, and give the book as a name as well, that is EMF Client Platform. Explained. Set the category to mystery. Then I can just take the writer now, and now I am able to drop it onto a book, and you can see that the author is filled into the book. Okay, what we have done in this tutorial is we have customized the Navigator, where we have shown you how to register custom openers and how to influence the drag and drop behavior within the ECP Navigator.